Welcome to the another episode of r/Askreddit. What early internet website did Gen Z really miss out on? Forums in general were great community spaces that you just don't get on Reddit or Facebook groups. The purely chronological format of forum threads made it so that dissenting voices, whether they were ignored, proved foolish, or whatnot, they still had to be seen by anyone following the conversation. On Reddit, often I see topics where maybe the number of people who might have the best insights and familiarity is relatively small. And so what sounds right or clever, funny, what have you, that gets pushed to the top at the expense sometimes of real clarity or knowledge. Sometimes the people with the most experience get pushed down to the bottom of the crowd has already decided on its own version of the truth. I miss that about forums. They are much better suited to smaller communities. But now everything has to be big, and it's easier to monetize big. The uncouth version of Pirate Bay, before government understood what piracy was. LimeWire after Lars killed Napster. Man, nobody today will understand the pure joy that one felt when they first got broadband cable internet when Napster and or LimeWire were still in their heyday. It was one of the greatest life hacks to date at that time. Combine that with a CD burner and you had the world at your fingertips. I love the answers on here, but there is one overarching point they are missing. The internet before every single person was monetizing it. It was amazing to see content created because someone wanted to make cool content and not because they are making sure SEO forces their recipe or life story site to pop to the top of Google. Fan sites and forums, as well as earlier YouTube, were peak internet. It's so and commercialized now it's depressing. But that's just the way it is, I guess. Things change. I had an X-Files fan site where I posted Windows themes, including custom background and mouse icons. When people did stuff for fun, and because it was cool, not to make money. Basically when the internet felt like it was mostly people, not mostly companies. Yeah, the amateurish feel is a deep loss for sure. Now everyone is trying to make this their side hustle. The hobbyists, amateurs, and randos still exist, but this is no longer the dominant form of content on YouTube. Old school DeviantArt. That's a good one. Old school DeviantArt hit differently back in the day. Believe me, I love the professional artists, I really do. But I miss the amateur art that looked like a 8th grade art project. The ones where you could tell they really did their best. It had charm. You can see that these people love to draw and love to share their artwork despite it all. It had heart. It had feeling. But it's like now the amateur artists are being pushed to back of the site. While it wasn't specifically a website, StumbleUpon back in its early days. Albino Black Sheep also comes to mind. StumbleUpon was my Reddit before Reddit. I found Reddit through StumbleUpon. LiveJournal. LiveJournal is where I met some of my closest friends 15 plus years later, and a good chunk of us still talk almost daily. Time zones be damned. I'd be dead without these people. They've been with me through it all. GeoCities. GeoCities is a very definition of the old internet. Creativity was king. Your identity was irrelevant. You were both allowed and encouraged to be a total amateurish goof. You could refrain from posting for months or years on end, and if your content was good, people would still come back. I took a trip one year to the Mall of America in Minnesota. About 45 minutes away there's a much smaller mall, where the movie Mallrats was filmed. I went there, and took a ton of pictures, and had a GeoCities site dedicated to my visit to Eden Prairie Mall. Unfortunately, I've long since lost all the pictures. The mall was undergoing a massive renovation at the time of my visit 20 plus years ago, and there were already precious few things that still looked the same as in the movie, so there's little chance of ever recreating it now. Still, it was a very fun memory. I feel like Gen Z missed out on the entire concept of websites, now that everything is hosted on a small handful of platforms, where some corporate so dictates what their users see. Yeah, I couldn't name many specific sites, just the web overall was more of a free-for-all untapped by all the corporatism. Back then YouTube was a treasure trove of copyrighted things that now people never see. Nobody was profiting, because it's stuff we would never be willing to pay for, but now there's just tons of things you can't see and never will. Searching came up with results that weren't ad-driven. Homester Runner. We had that light switch installed, so you can turn the lights on and off, not so you can throw light switch raves. Datcheat is grounded. MSN Messenger. It's obsolete by today's standards, but back then it was one of the first things you opened up when you got home and turned on your laptop or PC. People always wonder how I can type so fast at work. I always tell them it's from spending all of my time on MSN Messenger. When I was a teenager, I was a fan of CandyStand.com. I played the out of putt-putt on there. Lifesavers Golf. Classic. Making a website on Angel Fire. Having to put a towel over the PC so it would muffle the AOL online login at 11 PM. Downloading a video for 5 hours on Game Trailers extension. Trying to convince your friends to switch to Yahoo or AOL or MSN Messenger because whichever one you used was clearly the superior version. Email question chains. Gaming on dial-up. Trying to watch Zio or stick fights on the school library computers without getting caught. Playing whack-a-mole with LimeWire and viruses. Early celebrity make content for literally zero incentive outside of making content with no financial incentive. No ads, no Patreons, no sponsors, no mid-rolls. YouTube 5-star rating. Respond on respond videos. Inserts. Flash. Everything Flash. Depends on what you'd call early internet, but crack.com at its prime was a daily must-read. Crack.com used to be so good. Cracked used to have me in tears from laughing so hard. I went back to it fairly recently, and it was trash. Addictinggames.com. Went there all the time when my 5th or 6th grade class got to use the school computer lab. Good stuff. Funny to think about now. The computer lab had already banged Flash websites in elementary school. That's when we all learned how to start running proxies. Newgrounds, YTMND and Homestar Runner. You're the man now, dog. Punch the keys, for God's sake. The prime of MySpace.com. Neopets and MySpace were my first introduction to HTML and CSS. Ended up making a career out of computers, so I have to give those two sites a lot of credit for where I am today. I taught myself HTML on Neopets too. I think I was 12 or so. A lot of fun. Remember almost nothing now. Stick Death. I'm so glad people remember Stick Death. Seen a few people mention LimeWire, but who remembers Kazaa? Needed to have a ROS reinstall disk on hand with those file share programs. Porn popping up when you log onto the family PC. Tons of programs running in the system tray you never heard of. Bonsai Buddy. Kazaa had it all. Zombo.com. The infinite is possible at Zombo.com. Shockingly, this site is still up. Of course it's still up. Because you can do anything at Zombo.com. YouTube without the slightest thought of ads. I remember when you could allow that 10-minute video to fully buffer before watching, so why yes I will watch this video in magnificent high quality 720 pixels. Napster. And Winamp with various skins you could try out. It really whips the llama. Miniclip.com. Both Miniclip and Addicting Games were my childhood. Absolute peak of browser-based gaming. The positivity. The internet felt like a beautiful place connecting people together. It was like we were on our way to a better place. And then social media companies introduced algorithms which led people down rabbit holes. I was born in 2008, and I've always felt this way. The 2000s were so chill, and it makes me jealous. I didn't get to experience them. Everybody was just vibing back then. You basically missed out on the internet. It used to be much more vast and exciting. It was like exploring. Now we all go to the same 10 websites. This can't be understated. Part of what made the internet fun was talking to your IRL friends about the sites you like going on, and then hanging out and showing each other your favorite sites. It was how you found new stuff and made the internet still somewhat of a real social activity. But like you said, now it's all the same few websites. You don't show your friend this cool new site you found, you show them some new TikTok or tweet. Fuck was like Reddit before Reddit existed. Holy my fuck.com account still exists. I forgot about this site. Been over a decade since I even thought about it. Your dog wants steak. Still no cure for cancer. ETA. This thread is full of old and it's great. I was just thinking about this website I was obsessed with when I was a kid. Mad Darks. He made fun of kids' drawings, among other things, and I thought it was the absolute funniest thing in the world. Lol. The best page in the universe. Yays. I was obsessed with Mad Darks in middle school during the early aughts. Having your self-esteem affected by only your immediate peers and not the internet. The pain is real. I would get off all social media immediately. The stuff is all toxic. I'm in my mid-30s and deleted all social media, MySpace/Facebook, around the age of 21. My only regret is that when I was trying to date in my 20s, every single girl thought I was weird because I didn't have that. Having an Android didn't help my cause either. Dude, you were dodging bullets like near. Badger, 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 badger. Mushroom, mushroom. Snake, snake. Rotten.com. Geocities. Most people's first glimpse of a dead body. I'd always wondered what a jumper would look like on impact. Then I wished I could unsee it. Eborm's world. Do you know how to count to 55? Shiffity shiffity shifty fave. It ain't gone but classic YouTube, when people would just post random instead of well thought out advertised cash grabs. And the obvious choice, MySpace, that social media site was way too advanced and smart for its time. You could add music to your page, add wallpaper, customize the crap out of your space. Twitter, Facebook are just poor rip-offs, if you ask me. Early YouTube was like a communal America's Funniest Home Videos. Granted, that stuff is still there, but the site largely feels like it's been taken over by major companies shoving trailers down your throat or YouTube influencers doing shows that are mostly them telling you their opinions on things and asking you to like and subscribe and buy Raycon earbuds. It just feels like another kind of TV in disguise. Everything that floats to the top is channels that are trying to make money. There's quite a few websites that are burned into my psyche, but if I had to pick just one, it would be YTMND. Obviously the site still exists today, but it's a shell of what it used to be. Edit. Looking at a handful responses that have yet to mention my runner-ups, I would like to give an honorable mention to Neopets, Line Rider. I'll go with a more general, they missed the heyday of message boards. Reddit is similar, but it doesn't have the same small community feel. You used to go to a website for a niche interest, and there was a little button in the corner that said message board. It was kind of like a little hidden subreddit that only fans of the original site would ever find or bother signing up for. You could actually meet people and make friends because there were few enough users that you could remember usernames and personalities. Some of them had off-topic forums where the community could share whatever they wanted. I made friends on some of these boards that I'm still in contact with 20 years later, long after the boards have gone offline. Reddit and the various subreddits have kind of the same feel, but by and large you're still interacting with people as if they're strangers you'll never see again. There are too many of us to remember usernames and form connections. I miss the AOL chat rooms. I would be on them all night long getting into discussions over any possible subject. /s/l. 15/f/Cali. Hey, I know that chick. Thank you.